What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Dragon Ball Legends video on Dragon Ball Central. Today, guys, we're going to be going over why this might be one of the best updates so far in Dragon Ball Legends. Yesterday, we went over a lot of reasons why it probably was perceived a little bit more negatively and as one of the worst updates by a lot of the community. And today, I wanted to go over the other side of the coin, the other side of the story here, why it might be considered one of the best. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So first and foremost, guys, before we get into the whole sidestepping issue and why that might actually be a positive change overall in this game, I do want to go over some of the less impactful things. So first and foremost, we got more main story. That means more free chrono crystals. It means more levels, which is, again, additional chrono crystals. So overall, we're getting a little tiny injection of paid premium currency into the game, which is really nice because we just got a fantastic new banner that features two of the more highly anticipated units in this game, Gogeta and Janemba. Now, the banner is actually pretty decent if you go at it from a point of view that you're trying to sort of counter the power creep, and we'll go over that in a minute. But I just want to throw it out there. We did get a nice injection of paid premium currency here with the chrono crystals that we're going to get from the story, from the challenges, from generally just leveling up, that you're going to get 30 experience to level up a few Z levels every single time you complete one of the new chapters. So all around, it's not bad. And then on top of that, guys, it's actually some of the best story we've got so far. If you're a really big fan of the actual, not necessarily canon story, but the story that they're creating in this game, then you're probably going to be a really big fan of this latest update, because this entire book 7 is absolutely fantastic, has a great build up to when you fight Frieza. Final form Frieza is very difficult, actually introduces a new type of character that we haven't seen before with multiple health bars, which actually is going to be something that probably gets brought back in future updates with challenge modes and things like that, which is also very, very exciting. But all around, guys, the story leading up to it, the music, the cutscene, everything, getting to the Super Saiyan shallot and then just bodying Frieza is absolutely a ridiculously fun thing. So that's awesome in and of itself. With that said, you can go one step farther than that and talk about the actual transformation mechanic they have just added to the game. Now, we know from a previous data mine that there's going to be another category of identifier that actually is added to every single character moving forward. Now, no other character other than Shallot at this point has it, but basically that means that one character model is going to be able to go to another character model initiated by a thing. Okay, so in this case, we do see the main ability now. Once you switch him over to, having the Super Saiyan change, the main ability is going to turn him into a Super Saiyan. So he goes from base form, model, and, ability, stats, and everything to a Super Saiyan model, ability, stats, and everything. So that's really important to note because it will absolutely be included in future banners, in future units that are not Shallot, So it also means that we're probably going to get Shallot, farther down the line of Super Saiyan transformations eventually. But, that's not the most important thing you can glean from the fact that we do have character transformations now. That is absolutely amazing. It means that, we're going to probably be able to go back after, we've gone through most of the Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, OG Dragon Ball story, all of those things, even going through GT, because obviously they're going to put all of the GT characters that are, well-liked by fans and everything into this game. But I think it's really important to point out that they can go back through and recreate some different characters that have already been kind of created here. I'm talking, making a base form Goku that goes down the line, and it actually stands to reason that they're going to be able to do multiple transformations with multiple uses of a main ability, since it does refresh the main ability once you do use a transformation base main ability, at least in Shallot's case. So what we could see is literally a base form Goku that goes straight down the line of transformations. Maybe every 5 seconds he does get a new main ability refresh or something like that, or maybe he only does a few transformations or something. I don't know how it's going to go, to be completely honest with you guys, but the possibility is absolutely there, and it is very, very exciting that they did add that, because we've got a lot more I guess we've got a lot more reason to believe that they're going to be adding more transformations in the future now that they've proven the concept with their, main character for the game. Now, we also have got the newest banner, the Legends Rising banner featuring Janemba and Gogeta, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, Chicken, I didn't pull him. I spent like 10,000 Chrono Crystals. I didn't pull Gogeta. I didn't pull Janemba. I just got a bunch of dupe Pycons. And I'm sorry if that's the case, but you gotta know that every single banner you summon on Unless it has something really good that you get as a bonus for just summoning consecutively, it's probably not going to be something that everybody does well on. With a 1% chance of pulling a specific unit, it's just not going to go over well for everybody. So with that said, on average, if you spend a decent amount of Chrono Crystals, you're probably going to pull one of the two units, and you're probably going to have a good time with it. There's also dailies in this. It's not like a step-up banner where you have no dailies to take advantage of, which is really fantastic because a lot of people are going to be getting Gogeta. A lot of people are going to be getting Janemba over time just by doing dailies. For 20 Chrono Crystals, you have a chance at winning the lottery here, the 1 in 100, to get either one of them. A 1 in 50 shot of pulling one or the other. So really pretty great odds when you consider how many people are going to be pulling them over the next 2 weeks as this banner continues. But with that said, guys, you look down a little bit, we have Super Saiyan Goku, but it's going to be uppercut Goku, the blue Super Saiyan Goku, which is really a great counter. Honestly, one of the best counters in the game as far as just countering Gogeta. One of the best counters, if not the best counter in the game. I've seen multiple clips of people using one special arts or two special arts, and just, or not even that, just extra arts to buff up the special arts, attack value and make it a little bit more powerful, and then move on forward, use it, and then do hundreds of thousands of damage, taking out Gogeta almost immediately. And I've seen that happen quite a few times, not in my own personal experience, but with a lot of videos I've seen people play through. He is absolutely one of, if not the best counter. I think Kami Piccolo is probably the other one that's worth noting, as far as just being able to just straight shut down Gogeta. So the power creep, they're at least making an attempt to give us a possible answer to it, even though he's gonna be power creeped. He's gonna be way more powerful by a beat stick standards with his just stats and his overall utility and things like that. Being able to heal himself, buff himself, block, strike arts, all those things are very powerful, but they are also giving us a way to sort of counter him back. And then you're thinking, oh well, we have Janemba who's purple. Well, look at this. You scroll on down, you got Super Vegeta, one of the most meta characters that has been meta-defining recently because he's just so ridiculously powerful and goes so well onto the green-yellow team that we saw be the meta-defining team when Itku did come out. So I think it's important to look into that because that's going to counter Janemba very significantly as well. So what they're trying to do here is give us a chance to get something that will counter the meta if we don't pull it, or if we do pull it. Either way, it's going to be something that's in the queue that's not useless. It's in the realm of possibility that you pull a couple of these guys. You pull a couple, Super Saiyan Goku Blues or a Super Vegeta or two. And, even if you don't pull Gogeta, even if you don't pull Janemba, you have an answer to them and their power creep, which is probably the best thing that they could have done. And then obviously you have your fifth, which is going to, by default, buff Gogeta. So when he does go down, it's also going to provide some value to Gogeta. So even though if you don't get Gogeta, you're probably not going to be happy with the Pycon pull. I will say that I do understand their reasoning for this, and it does make a lot of sense. And I'd imagine if you pull Gogeta, you pull a couple Pycons as well, you'd probably be pretty happy. Now, really quickly, before we actually hop into the sidestep discussion, I do want to point out here that there are a lot of different options as far as pulling extremes on the latest banner, and that is a negative for late game players and for mid game players that might already have all of them pulled but maybe don't have them at a high Z power. I will say that getting a decent amount of Z power across a wide variety is absolutely fantastic for your day one new players. So if you're a new player, you're probably going to benefit from this pretty significantly, being able to pick up quite a few different extremes if you summon on this banner more than a couple times. And some of them are really great supports. You have your mono element supports, you have your android supports, you have some hybrid supports. And then obviously, Master Roshi's amazing as well for quite a few reasons and will only get better down the line. You have Saiyan support Raditz, still used on a lot of teams today as a just pure support, not used in actual battle, but used because he has that nice HP buff to Saiyans. Scrolling on down, you've got Kaba here, who's also going to be used down the line, not right now, but down the line eventually we will see him used most likely as a support on some Dragon Ball Super character-based teams from the Champa Saga. So all around, guys, I really have to say that this banner is good for specific players. It's good because, it's some really very much sought after, very much highly anticipated characters. And they're also, they're power creeps enough that they're going to be really good if you pull them. You're a new player, you're a late game player, no matter what, you're going to enjoy having them on your team. But you also have, some other options to either buff them with Paikon's case, or with Super Saiyan Goku and with Super Vegeta, you have a counter to them. So no matter what, it's a pretty decent banner if you pull any of the Sparkings other than Paikon, and then Paikon even is a pretty decent pull if you've already pulled Gogeta. And guys, what you're most likely waiting for me to talk about right now as far as the positives and negatives go with this particular update, the most highly anticipated, whether it be a negative highly anticipated or positive highly anticipated, was the adjustments to balance as far as sidestepping is concerned. So there's a lot of people that are saying this is a positive at its base, purest form. It's a positive change because your early game players, your casuals, are going to be less, beat out by, I guess, late game players that, know how to sidestep, know how to blast step, know how to key cancel, and all of those advanced techniques. Well, I will say that this at its core is probably a positive change, especially for early game. It's also probably a positive change because, in general, having that big of an advantage over your opponent, if they don't know, might discourage them into quitting the game. And the fact of the matter is, you need early game retention in games like this. You need your players to get into it, to really enjoy it, to get involved in it, to, jump into your PvP action, which is their end game right now, and then stick with it. Well, if you get sidestepped on, maybe you don't stick with it because that's not something you understand. Maybe it's just because you're a casual player, you're hopping in, you don't understand why you're losing. A lot like, before I understood key canceling, I think that I followed not necessarily the same line of thinking because I wouldn't have quit the game over it, but I could understand why someone would go there where they would just be like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand why I'm losing. I'm done with this, And a lot of people don't actually care to seek out YouTubers, to seek out, all the different content made on this game, whether it be on Game Press or on Reddit or on Discord or anything else. They just play the game and they're casual with it. And they don't get any more involved than that. And if they're discouraged enough to quit the game in mass, then that doesn't bode well for the future of the game. So I absolutely think that they needed to make changes. Is this the right change? Did they go too far? I don't know. I mean, that's up to you. But again, going over it, I think that if they tone down on the Vanishing Gauge restoration nerf here, which obviously is the most significant part of this, making it so the game is relatively turn-based, then I do think that this change is actually a really solid change. Personally, obviously, I've given my more sincere opinion in yesterday's video on what I feel like they're doing here. And I think that there is some positive to glean to this, though, because the key restoration was a little bit too much, in my opinion. The card draw speed making it so with the power creep, hand in hand, you can kind of combo off on someone and take them out no matter what. If, you're having a new power creeped unit and you're able to combo off with, 7 or so arts cards. I mean, I think that that's a little bit too ridiculous. So I do understand and fully support the nerf to arts card draw speed. And then battle member standby count time elapsed also makes sense because, you don't want as many options to be there for someone that's going to take advantage of something like sidestepping. The options should still be there, which is why I want the Vanishing Gauge back. I want to be able to immediately dodge after a combo if I have a good Vanishing Restore for some reason, whether it be an ability or otherwise. But other than that, guys, I do think that the key restoration nerf is great. I think the arts card draw speed is great. I think that the overall count time elapsed for battle member standby, I think that that's great as well. All around, man, I think that if they actually dial back the Vanishing Gauge restoration nerf, then we'll be looking at a really solid, a solid nerf that's going to make it a little bit better for early game players. And again, that's not something that late game players are necessarily too concerned with, but if the game just shuts down because it's not actually getting enough people involved in it, spending on it, playing it regularly, then that's going to be definitely in the best interest of the late game player to sort of be a little bit concerned about, The fact of the matter is, if retention just continues to drop and drop and drop and drop and drop, and then eventually, your early game players, maybe 1 out of 100 of them makes it to, BR 50 to be late game, that's not going to be good enough, I don't think. That's not going to be good enough to keep the game going in the long run. You need people that are casuals. You need people that aren't going to get too involved in the game. They are going to be your not as vocal majority, the silent majority that's just going to be playing the game casually and enjoying their time on it. And that's something that they need to cater to, like it or not. So is it a totally positive change overall? Again, I'm going to say it just like I said it yesterday. I don't know. That's up to you. but I think I laid out all of the positives in this video and all the negatives in the last video, and there's a lot of ways to interpret it. So let me know again down in the comment section below what you think about it. But overall, guys, based on what I've outlined in this video, I think you could easily consider this a very positive update. Now, is it the huge update we were expecting? Maybe not, you know. Again, let me know what you think about that down in the comments. But guys, let's actually hop into some YOLO summons and see what happens. We have got some really solid stuff coming up soon. We'll be doing a Master Pack 1 multi and a Master Pack 1 30% chance of sparking multi very, very soon. So that's going to be pretty hype. We also have a guaranteed sparking here we're going to do in just a few days again, guys. But for right now, we've got a couple just normal single summon YOLO summons to go through, so we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Single Potter, we got that Super Saiyan popping in there, though. That's probably looking like an extreme or above right now, right? I think that Super Saiyan's guaranteed extreme or above. We got big text. Things are looking okay. It's gonna blow up in the middle. Extreme, right? Yeah, it's gonna be an extreme. Okay, grabbing a Raditz. You know, I'm not exactly too excited about that because it's gonna be a while before we get another valuable limit break on him. We need to get him to 7 stars to have him actually have some value again. Might be a bit before we do that. So, you know, not exactly super hyped about that one. But guys, we've actually got the next Ultra Space Time summon coming up very, very soon, which is super exciting. It's going to be a Destroy Dynamic 3 Potter Super Saiyan. And good neutral clash, which is fantastic. Super big fan of that. Big text. Everything looking really fantastic at the moment, guys. And we'll blow up in the middle, so it's looking more like an extreme than anything else. And it will be an extreme Goku. Again, one that I need a lot more Z power on to actually get totally maxed out. And eventually that'll actually be really good because once we do get him to 7 stars, he'll have, I think, a 7% increase in stats, which is pretty insane. 2 weeks left on the Legends Rising banner. Let's see what happens. Can we get Janemba by the end? Well, that's a 3 Potter. That's guaranteed extreme or above, dudes. We're going base form, but I don't even care, man. I don't even care. That's perfect. That's perfect. Going for the good neutral clash. So again, we're looking like an extreme right now. Big text, and we're gonna blow up in the middle. So probably an extreme. Again, about a 2 and 5 shot of going into a break, but it won't be. It's gonna be a Krillin, so we got some more Z medals. So all around, you know, not really that bad as far as summons are concerned. We've got a lot of Z medals right now, guys. Look at how many. We've got 4722 Z medals right now. That is just dumb, dude. That is just dumb. So I hope they do add that store at some point soon. But yeah, again, this is another way. You know, this video is just me taking the positives out of the latest update, really trying to put a good spin on everything, and you know, just thinking about how it could positively affect the game in the long run, because that's really what you have to do. If you see something that's initially a knee-jerk negative reaction, a lot of the time you can just take a step back, try to look at things objectively, understand why they might have done what they've done, and then it starts to make a little bit more sense. So let me know again down in the comment section below what you think. I'd imagine this is going to have a lot less controversy in it than yesterday's video, which a fair amount of people just went straight down to the comments without even watching and understanding that I was going to be making today's video. But I totally understand that. You know, the knee-jerk reaction, again, going to be immediately seeing me attacking a game that people love, and then, you know, that's... I'm a hater, you know? So, hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I will see you very soon for the next one. We're going to be not talking about this update very much anymore, just talking about how they're going to respond to it, maybe changes that they might make, you know, but that's not going to be soon. So, I will see you guys very, very soon. I think that the next video might actually be a counters to Gogeta video, which I'm super hyped about, but you didn't hear it from me. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, peace.